What is some advice that is too late for you, but others ought to hear and consider? If you love someone, let them know. Rejection is better than a lifetime of wondering. If you love somebody, let them free. Sting. Even if they never placed the lotion in the basket. Put in an effort to maintain your relationships, romantic or otherwise. Always put in that effort. And leave a relationship where the other person refuses to put in effort, even when you try to talk about it. When I get my own place, I'm cutting off contact with my sister. She won't care since she hates me so much. The relationship has to be good for you, and if cutting contact helps you, I say more power to you. Back up all your damn computer files. My sister and my parents are joking how many backups I made, and when my phone resets, I'm like, okay, no problem. But when that happens to someone else, it's just like they bought a new phone, nothing is there. $1,000 isn't very much money to have, but it's a lot to owe. Yeah, when I was borrowing money from a student loan, it never seemed like enough. Now that I have to pay it back, I realize it was way too much. I told my daughter that for every scholarship she didn't apply for, because it wasn't a lot of money, she owed me that amount. For instance, she told me that she didn't want to try for one because it was $500, because it wasn't a lot when it came to college. I said, okay, now you owe me $500. Oh lordy, I don't have $500, that's a lot of money. Guess what? She applied and won. Phew. Sometimes teenagers can be so difficult. Sigh. She didn't lick it off the grass. The future is so immensely unpredictable. Don't exhaust yourself obsessing over it. This is important. You will drive yourself nuts stressing things that you have no control over and that may never happen. I'm just recently working on this myself, and when I catch myself overthinking things out of my control, I consciously stop and feel a weight off my shoulders. Do you do or think anything specific to get yourself to stop and feel that relief? I often worry obsessively over future possibilities, health, death, adverse circumstances, etc. And I would love to feel that lifted weight rather than it stuck in my thoughts. Love isn't always enough. You can love somebody very much and the relationship still may not work. And one person's commitment to love deeply and unconditionally cannot make up for the other person not reciprocating. Agreed. I realise that even though you love and care for a person, if they don't respect you and constantly hurt you, love isn't enough. Love is the bare minimum. They have to do things to grow the love. The more you let others, especially parents, control your life and don't establish boundaries, the more likely it is that you will be doing something you absolutely hate, but let others push you into doing. Establish boundaries and take control of your life. I always wanted to work in food and was going to sign up for it at college when I first graduated. My mum thought I should be practical and get a pharmacy technician degree first. I felt like I was wasting time doing that and ended up quitting anyway. Now I went back and I'm working on my culinary degree now. Took me 10 years to get going again, but I'm almost there now. I can 100% relate to this. My parents absolutely forced college on me when I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. As a result, I rebelled. I dropped out of 3 different schools, played in a touring band and partied a lot. 12 years later, I'm decently successful and I think my mum resents me because I did it my way and still made it. She can't fathom how because I didn't follow the path she wanted me to. Start saving money now. It's better to have money and not need it than to need money and not have it. Not to mention how important developing the habit of going without stuff is. Cutting down luxuries is not easy if you have them so often that you don't consider them luxuries. Absolutely, invest some of your money but also have cash savings. Don't put it all into investments. What if the market tanks? You never know. Surround yourself with the right people. Just because you have a history with someone doesn't mean you need to keep spending time with them if you've grown in different directions. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely. Maybe that's why I'm a mean guy. I spend all my time with a 3-year-old. Stretch and exercise daily. It's far easier to maintain a healthy weight than it is to get to one from being overweight or obese. It's also a hell of a lot easier to do it when you're young than to start when you're close to 40. Someone told me this 10 years ago, and I still live by it. Great advice. In an ideal scenario, quarantines aside, I'd want to do yoga, cardio, and lifting all in a week, even though I'd prefer to spend more time doing one more than others. Has anyone found a good balance between flexibility, cardio, and strength building routines while working full time? If something traumatizes you, seek help to come to terms with and deal with it. That thing can stick for a long time, and it stinks. Sadly, this help isn't easily available for everyone. Yup, that was one of the main problems for me. Then, when I tried to get help earlier last year, 11 years after the event, I couldn't talk about it, and the help was wasted. If your partner overreacts to trivial things and makes you beg for forgiveness early in the relationship, then they will most likely escalate to abuse. Get out before it gets that bad. It will only get worse, and it will only get harder to leave. Inclusively, overreacting doesn't mean they'll flip out and shout about it. Playing victim is also a form of overreacting and manipulation. Both forms train the other person to feel guilty and submissive to the other person. This is so true. I wish I had listened to this advice. My ex-husband overreacted the first time I made hot dogs for lunch. I asked him if he wanted ketchup and mustard. He flipped out and accused me for being insensitive for not remembering that he hated ketchup. For real? I said it's the first time I asked this question. Forget it. It turned into a big debate as to me being insensitive and him accusing me of trying to confuse him with another man who liked ketchup. Believe me, it still makes no sense. Anyway, I married the guy and yes, the abuse got bad. I have been out of that relationship for 3 years now. Life is better.
Number 1. Know your own worth. Don't be exploited by bad employers just because you don't think you're worth anything. You do deserve fair pay and reasonable hours, and sanity. Number 2. It's okay to make yourself a priority. You can work every minute of every day and never have friends or holidays or time off, but you're not going to get a prize for it. At the end of your life, your boss or company will have won, but will quickly forget you. You won't be able to suddenly make memories and friends materialize. Number 3. Don't stay in a relationship you know is dead for years after you realize that fact. Life is genuinely too short. You shouldn't be spending big chunks of it unhappy just to protect someone else's feelings. Number 2 is a big one. Businesses want to squeeze every drop out of what they pay for, be it product, service, or labour. The more you do without compensation, the more the goalposts move to create expectation. As soon as you realise you're doing more without reward, you need to advocate for yourself. Too many people suffer burnout simply because they're trying to please everyone but themselves. What's worse is there are entire industries that have weaponized people's self-worth into a form of work culture. Expand your interests in school. I did 12 seasons of sport in high school, At least a few of those would have been better spent on theatre or music or some other type of creative activity. What if you don't do anything in school and have no interests? Stay motivated. There will come a time when you find something that may interest you. Who knows? Maybe there is something you may end up enjoying even though initially you showed no interest in it. I remember getting pressured to know what I wanted to do growing up. At 32, I'm still trying to figure that out. Joined the military at 29, have worked as a border patrol agent, security, church's chicken cook, Union Pacific carman, mechanic, and now I'm in nursing school trying to get my degree and become an RN. Never in a million years did I think I'd end up in nursing, but I refuse to accept defeat and be content with barely making ends meet and living from paycheck to paycheck. So just keep pushing forward and look into stuff that may interest you. If you don't end up liking it, then look for something else. I have friends that never did anything in high school other than go to class and do bare minimum, and now are really successful, whereas I was in all sports, NHS and other activities, and I'm still trying to get where I'm going. Don't let others' success bring you down. I use it as motivation. Life has a way of taking you in different routes. It's not always your fault. You don't have to feel bad and guilty for everything bad that happens in your life. And even if you do mess things up, it doesn't mean other people have the right to be a jerk to you. Okay, but how do you help someone realize this and stop with it? I managed to get over with this thing. I have no clue how. I just forced it out of myself because I was pissed off at the world and life and people. Honestly, I don't even know how to make myself realize this. I'm currently going through an emotional roller coaster because someone I really care about said some really mean stuff to me, and I'm feeling guilty for something that definitely wasn't my fault and I shouldn't be feeling guilty about. I know all that, but I still feel like crap. Don't ever self-harm. If you've just started and you're thinking it's not that bad or it's not bad enough to ask for help, believe me, it's so much better to get help now. It's very hard to quit once you've done it a few times, and it gets so exhausting trying to stop but failing. Substitute your self-harm to self-harm by lifting weights or doing a sprint or run, something that will push you and hurt you and give you release. But unlike self-harm when your body declines, with this you will get better and fitter each time. Channel the need into something good, not bad. Don't smoke. Even if you eventually manage to quit, you're forever an ex-smoker, not a non-smoker. I quit 14 years ago, and that stuff is still following me. I just need to pass by a smoker having one on the street, and it reactivates all the cravings. Yes man, I'm struggling. When I'm at university, I smoke like 8 to 12 ciggies a day. Just can't get a break. Most of my friends smoke. Apparently it's a thing in law school. I'm just tired, to be honest. I'm home because of COVID-19, so I can't smoke. I hope to God that I don't pick up smoking again. 1. Before you buy something, ask yourself, do I need this stuff? E.g., that new iPhone XS12 version 2 may be nice, but if your phone does the job already, why spend the money? Be smart with your money. 2. Don't take advice from someone you wouldn't take criticism from. 3. Have a long-term goal and sacrifice for it. If you don't make the sacrifice now, what you want becomes the sacrifice. Number 2 sounds very profound, but I don't quite get it. Would you mind unpacking it a little? Sounds like you have a story behind it. Yeah, sure. So, sometimes in life, you'll come across a range of different people, and I am lucky in my young age, 19, to have experienced a lot of stuff which has taught me a lot. So the second quote basically means you need to be able to differentiate between someone who's giving you good advice and someone who's just out there to hurt you or take a jab, and it ain't easy to do so. It'll take time, and you'll have to experience it to fully learn from it or understand what I mean. Don't go to uni just because you think it's the next logical step. Have a plan, have an end goal. Be there for a reason. Moreover, if
If you realise that you're failing and losing the ability to function, reach out. There's so much help there just waiting for you. Don't end up like me, who had no real end goal, lost all desire and ability to do anything, and had to drop out with absolutely nothing to show for it. Don't believe your brain telling you you're unwanted unless you have actual proof that that's the case. Talk to someone first to see if it's true. I nearly pushed away and lost an amazing friend group before one caught on just enough to know something was wrong. But a lot of times it's way harder for people to see if someone's struggling. Often people will want to help, but they need to know there's a problem in the first place. If you're in college, do it right. Finish it right no matter how long it takes. Get the degree you actually want, and any minors or certs that make it better. Look up job offers for your degree and see what they expect. Maybe take an extra semester getting a cert in something like graphic information systems or a software while doing an internship. I took a bad degree because I was ready to be done with school due to my alcoholism. I was 1 year away from a really great degree, but I gave up and basically trashed the last 4. I can't reuse those classes for the proper degree either. Take your time. Does it matter if you get the highest type of degree, like a 1-1? Because I'm struggling to find motivation to study enough for that. Don't build your self-worth around money. No matter how much you make, it will never be enough, and the more you have, the more you fear losing. Find other ways to feel good about yourself than the size of your paycheck. Thanks, this post motivated me to keep writing. That's what I should have done 25 years ago. I'd probably make a lot less, but be so much happier. If I had been wiser in college, I'd be a history professor at some little university writing my books. Instead, I've spent 35 years chasing the money, and no amount is ever enough. Write. Write for yourself. Write for others. If that is your passion, follow it. It's too late for me, but I can tell you that the path I chose may come with material things, but true satisfaction is ever elusive.